Hello, welcome back to Blender Station Live. In this episode, I want to talk about Blender 3.0 latest asset browser. So this scenes was totally made using demo files, demo blend files from Blender Studio. This is called Cube Diorama. You can download it from this link. So yeah, at the same time today, I actually want to talk about the latest feature of Blender that's coming feature, which is we can take advantage of Apple M1 Metal GPU. Okay, if you turn this on, and if you are using Blender 3.0 latest one from 13th of December, you can take advantage of the render speed. So it's gonna be a lot faster, but still, this is still alpha, so keep that in mind. And still the first build that's using the Apple Metal, sorry. So yeah, let's take a look how I actually set this scene up. So currently, I'm just gonna show you quickly. Okay, this guy is running at 24 frame per second, but I think it should be 30 frames per second because my character is from Mixamo. I think this is the correct speed. As for the render, if I actually turn on the metal, and make sure you actually just check this one, not the one on the top. This will give you faster speed for the render. You can see instantly it's already rendering, and I'm using the denoise is already turned on as well. If I turn off denoise and try this is the speed that you are getting. Anyway, let's actually try how to set something like this. So if you downloaded the example file diorama, you're gonna get an empty space cube, and there's also a camera that's already set up. So let me open again. So it's already actually rendering from the camera. Let me turn on, switch this to outliner so we can see what's in the scene. And this is an example render. If you press F12, we have a camera. We are looking from the camera actually now. If we use middle mouse button and look around, this is outside of the camera. So let's try to set up a simple scene. This is the asset browser. Let me save it very quickly. So this is Cube there. I'll just call it demo X001. Let's take a look. Okay, so the idea is with asset browser, you have all these assets from Blender Studio. These are some examples, and you simply need all you need to do is just drag and drop it into the scene. You can see it's actually kind of conforming and into the space. So we have this cube diorama with the walls and the floor. Whatever you drag into it will right away conform to the space. Let's put this diploma. Okay, if you want to see the texture, you can turn this on from here. This is the preview. This is the 3D preview, and there's this second shading preview. This one actually have light, and there's also the final render that's using cycles. Normally I work either in this mode if I'm animating, or I can work with this. If you want to use like a matcap, you can use matcap over here. Just test different material, just like for preview. If you want to use Eevee, actually Eevee, this is actually more like Eevee. So Blender comes with Eevee and cycles render engine. So this is with Eevee, of course. It's almost like real time. It's more like a game engine render. But for our demo today, I will actually turn on the cycles and M1. Not experimental. Let me turn this on from preferences, under system, metal, turn on Apple M1. Don't turn this on. If you have both on, it's gonna crash right away because it's still alpha. So let's save this. So it's gonna render using Apple M1. Okay, don't worry about the error message. Okay, anyway, so let's keep bringing some 3D assets. So it's really fun. Just drag and drop. It's almost like you're putting AR objects. If you're not confident with Blender tools yet, like for transformations, normally the way we work, okay, if you use Blender for a long time, R is for rotate. You can use RX, RY, RZ. There's a lot of shortcut on the keyboard, but if you're not confident with that yet, feel free to use this tool, this panel. If it's hidden, you can tap T to get this tool. This is all the transform tools. Okay, so you can work this way. If it's a lot easier, you can have all the transform. Okay, and yeah, just keep drag and dropping tools into the scene. I recommend you, if you're new with Blender, just to start messing around with this asset browser. So let's try, okay, furniture, let's say I'm using this side table and I want to put this guy on the top. Okay, now there's a way to actually snap this guy. If you already place it on the floor, there's a snapping tool somewhere here. Align, rotation, or project. One of these anyway. But for now, we don't worry about that. Just we're gonna drag and drop this guy into the scene this way. Anyway, yep. Let's delete this. Delete is actually X. Okay, we have that. Art supply, can we just put it like that? Yep, it works. Decorations, bird cage, it's cool. Put bird cage there. There's also some materials, some materials preset, which is nice. I will put Susan, so monkey head, and I will just quickly bevel this guy and then Control 2, subdivide it, and right click and shade smooth. I will just drag and drop this material for Suzanne. By default, I think we have some light for this scene, but you can make your own light, which is pretty fun to do. Okay, I'm gonna place Suzanne on the floor. So I'm looking at it from different angle. Just gonna make sure we get Suzanne inside the cage. Oh, it's actually floating. Okay, interesting. Something like that. Really weird, but yeah, rug. Let's place the rug. Rotate. You can scale. Local scale, global scale, you can change from here. If you want to stretch that. Mirror is actually nice. It has some reflections. Furniture, okay. I haven't used, I like the chair. Definitely we'll have the chair. Table. Teacup. Teapot. All this stuff. It's very nice assets because they are all, if you download random assets from Sketchfab, you can also put it here, but maybe the style slightly different. We have cat, okay. Put a cat on the chair. Rotate this a little bit. Book. Oh, laptop. And the asset browser itself, currently we are actually working inside the blend files. Okay, with the assets, you can kind of embed the assets inside the blend and then share it with your friends or your work partners. Put this in here. But you can actually use the blend and then make sure the asset browser works inside your files. For example, let's actually put this on the rug. If you want to reset the rotations, Option R, reset the rotations. Maybe this is a big cat. Maybe. Okay, yeah, you can see how fast it is actually when rendering using the Cycles M1. Still, this is alpha, but you can see the reflections, everything working quite nicely and fast. Oh yeah, I was talking about the assets browser. So currently it says current files. Okay, I actually have a couple of assets from the past, I think. Sketchfab. Oh, okay, all right. We have append, link, and options. This is the options when you bring in the objects, whether you want to link it or append. There's user library. I don't have anything. Okay, that's interesting. Let's create a new scene, for example. And my assets is actually under documents, under Blender. Okay, it's here. I have Sphere-Chalk, Sushi assets, and Sketchfab. All right. Let's see. This is a blank scenes. This is Blender 3.1 alpha, and I will open up asset browsers. Current file has no assets, so we don't see anything here. If I select sushi, okay, all right. Now I have my assets, so I can just drag and drop it. The one from Blender Studio is called, I call this Blender Studio, and I put the blend files in there. It's only around 12 megabytes. Okay, the light rig doesn't work. Let me try something. Okay, I will go to Edit, Preferences, and under File Path, I will add new folder, and let's find Documents, Blender Studio. I'll call this Blender Studio, and we should have our Blender Studio assets appearing. Okay, all right, so we can drag and drop the assets just like before. This is how asset browser works. Okay, apparently unit size also matters. And this is the actual size of the objects. I make this pot too big, but yeah, simply drag and drop things into the scenes. So that's the idea. With assets, if you bring your assets anywhere, you need to put it in a folder somewhere. So in my case, I put it under folder called Blender, and inside that folder I have multiple folder like Sketchfab, Sphere Chalk assets, and my other random assets, so that we can just simply pull it into the scene. Sphere Chalk one is empty. This sushi I have. Sketchfab one is empty. I'm pretty sure I have some in there. For now, okay, I have this character, teapot, vase material. I should be able to drag and drop materials. Okay, it's actually working. Okay, let's continue. Blender Studio. Yeah, we can quickly make scenes. Ladder. Actually, what else do we have here? Okay, maybe we need like a floor. We're gonna make our own cube. Floor with a plank. We definitely need to scale the plank or something, or we can use array. Yeah, maybe not gonna do that for now. So I'm using shortcut G X G Y. So this type of shortcut, or I'm just simply using G and then drag it with middle mouse button. So we have this directional movement. So we might make like this kind of arrangement. I don't know what it is. Maybe like some kind of gathering desk. Okay, yeah. We have, let's save this very quickly. This is also like a random diorama. Maybe you want to have walls or things like that. Great. Just duplicate this floor, and then RX90. I'm gonna have wall. Oh, looks, it's very like traditional kind of house. Drop a concrete right away. We have wall. And we have picture frame. I just scale it. I think setup is kind of funny. Teacup, pot plant. Okay, nice. Pot plant. This desk, table, ladder. Teacup, okay. Everyone will drink this teacup. Looks like some kind of cult meetup. Gonna duplicate this asset and then make this. Yep. Okay, nice. Maybe we need another seat. Bench. Okay. Bench. RZ 90 degrees. Again, this is the tool if you're not confident yet with Blender shortcut. you can use the tool, but it's faster if you're familiar with the shortcut RSG. R for rotate. You can rotate in the Z axis if you use R and Z. Okay. It's kind of like a teapot meeting. What else? What else here? Cat. So this is the assets from Blender Studio. Let's try setting up some kind of light. Okay. Yeah, I forgot to mention about light and camera. We definitely, if we just render this out, so by default it's using Eevee, we need to switch to cycles and then preferences, system. Okay, Apple M1 turn on. This is gonna be using the new Apple metal cycles and renderer. So I just make another floor. Gonna go to edit mode and just extrude this out. Cluster, okay, yeah, it works. Just drag this a little bit down. Okay, cool. If we render this out, it's gonna look like this, because by default we have only this kind of light ambience. Okay, if we use the sky, if this is outdoor sky, oh, okay, by default we have Nishita working with cycles, so you can, okay, maybe this is like indeed some kind of outdoor environment. Let's rotate the sun. So you have the sun over there. You can increase the sun size. So there's a sun somewhere, but normally it's too bright, and you might need to set up your filmic color management. So by default it's filmic. You might need to change the look, high contrast, change the exposure, etc. You can play around with that. Sometimes I add air, dust, and ozone just to give it a bit of atmosphere. Okay, I think this is a lot nicer. Some kind of meetup with a large teapot. Still, yeah, you can continue, keep working on your scenes. You know, even you just have like a limited number of assets that you can continue adding and making, and yeah, still I quite like the assets, and then you can start from there and then just play around with this sunlight. So this is daytime, it's so bright. We can reduce the sun intensity. I like the afternoon scenes actually, so maybe I just make it like afternoon scenes once again, and then add my own light, point light somewhere here. Oops, okay. Just now it goes dark somehow. If this is like a nighttime, now it's starting to get more interesting. We got the sun over there. We can increase the sun size, so it's looking really dramatic. Maybe this is even like in the middle of ocean or something. Some kind of metaverse. You're in the middle of nowhere. Just like a giant teapot. Shift D to duplicate, and then I just gonna put it there and then rotate this vase a little bit. It looks kind of creepy environment. With bunch of light. So lighting the scenes is actually take like some kind of intuitions, and you need to spend a bit of time anyway to do some lighting, some proper lighting. Asset browser, you can add your own assets, like what I said here, like I have my random objects over here. I can put like the stone, the rock. We can always, you know, add a text, for example. Quick one. Just say welcome. RX90. I will extrude this text a little bit. We can use our own font. I will add a bit of depth to the text, and let's actually use the Blender Studio material, metal, and RZ180. Say welcome. Welcome to the meetup of this space of this metaverse. Okay, the text, if you want to change the font, do it from here. Download the font from Google, or I have Huberfish text, which is, it's gonna give you like random. It's even more interesting now. Very cool. Okay, some kind of virtual meetup, and add another light. This time I will use sun. So there's some kind of extra light. So there's sun at the back there, and there's another sun from here, which is I'm gonna try different color. It's looking really weird. Put a flower. Wooden rock. Yep, it seems to work. You can try anything basically. Ladder. Do you have anything we can bring in? No, nothing. A character. We need some kind of character. So I have my character from the other day. I can bring in as FBX. So it's from Mixamo. The animation is from Mixamo. I have a character that's sitting idle. Okay, I'm just gonna put it into place. That's basically me sitting down. This guy is sitting so weirdly. Okay, just gonna put him over there. Anyways, he is just being cool. By default, I think, oh yeah, this character doesn't have material. I need to bring in the material from another scene. Where is my character? Snail guy, idle. So I have this one, which already have a texture. I just need to delete this guy because I don't need. Delete hierarchy. So back to this view, frame selected. Gonna give it a material. Oh, it can be smaller. Some kind of goblin. All right. Very interesting looking scenes. By the way, if you want to render this out, okay, because this character is actually moving and animating, and I should make this like the right frame rate, 30 frames per second. It doesn't have camera by default. Shift A, create a camera. View, align camera to view. So we are looking inside the camera, and then here on this panel, camera to view. Okay, so just now we just create a simple scenes. I guess you can probably make a lot nicer scenes, but this is actually already quite something. It's you can continue kind of compose your scenes, and then even better, you can actually export this out as AR or VR experience. Scale this. RZ, I'm gonna rotate this slightly. Okay. Our camera, of course, by default, it has certain lens. Keep that in mind. But you can always change the lens to maybe 24, so it's wider, ultra wide type of lens. Yeah, it looks like some kind of cult meetup, secret cult. You can make up stories with Metaverse. Just like in the movies. It's currently still empty. Okay, let's check it out. It's rendering using Cycles, of course, Cycles engine. And it's using the M1, I think it's using M1 speed. Should be pretty fast. The scene looking super dark. I will just increase the sun intensity. Oh, because we are maybe under the shadow. If you rotate the sun from behind, you get something that's completely different. It's rendering by default without the denoise. You might want to turn on denoise in the viewport, so you're gonna get final render very, very quickly. I have two sun in the scene. Gonna delete one. Check it out. And I have multiple point light. Maybe that's kind of slowing down the render. So yeah, it's yeah, I think it's something fun that you can try yourself. You can always download more assets from something like Sketchfab. I mentioned Sketchfab a lot because it has 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 objects that you can download. I think Blender, there's actually an account like named Blender, and it has a lot of objects that you can download. You can download anything. Let's try like a flower or okay, mushroom, for example. You're searching for mushroom, and we're gonna search for models, and we're gonna find the one that's downloadable, and we're gonna bring it into the scene. Say this nice looking mushroom, for example. It's probably scanned object. It's looking really realistic. If you are into kind of realistic 3D, you can download this mushroom. This one is looking even better. This one is probably being model. Could be 3D scan. It's looking beautiful as well. Download. Sketchfab is becoming more like encyclopedia. It has some kind of information here. Okay, it's modeled using ZBrush Substance Painter. Okay. Anyhow, let's bring this into the scenes. File, import, GLB. You can turn this into assets if you're doing this properly. Like currently, I'm just bringing the model into the scenes, but you can use the assets browser. Maybe that's what I should do. I create a new scenes, I delete everything, and file, import the GLTF downloads. Let's just import our mushroom. So this is from Sketchfab. It has this locator, empty, and our mushroom. I'm gonna save this into my Blender folder with Sketchfab. Okay, I just call this mushroom A. I'll create another file. File, import GLTF. Another mushroom in different scale. I might need to rescale this. File, save as, mushroom B. Okay, I haven't made this into assets yet. Maybe I just right click and then mark as assets and then save, and I will reopen the other one. Right click, mark as assets. Hopefully, if we go back to our scenes, save as, hopefully if we switch this to Sketchfab, we can see our mushroom. Okay, it seems to appear, we have this object. All right, so all right, the mushroom works there, the rest of them doesn't seems to work. I might have done something wrong with the other mushroom. With this guy, maybe I need to mark assets. Anyway, I just gonna join this, save, right click, mark as assets on that guy, clear assets. Go back to our diorama, Sketchfab. Now we have our mushroom. Size is pretty large. Something to keep in mind. So we have a meeting with mushroom. Okay, Option G to reset the positions. Position is also incorrect. Oh, okay, that's our stone. Let's put this mushroom there. RX 90 degrees, RX 180. Put it here. So it's like some kind of abstract setup. Mushroom inside this pot. We have our goblin character. Okay, now it seems to be more lively. Get these. Okay, text. Maybe center the text. Put it up there, put this there. Okay, cool. Now we have our dramatic looking scenes. .3D, you know, with a 3D, of course, there's a lot of all kind of art forms merged and blended together into 3D. If you're an architect or you're like a 3D modeler or animators or even like a comic book artist or creators, you know, other all type of art form, including musics. So if these scenes have musics, it's gonna look even more realistic and better. Go view. Okay, but by the way, we don't just have Nishita, we have all kind of different sky that you can try on. Sometimes Hosex or Pretime actually give a nice look, kind of ambience, but you can always use, instead of using sky texture, you can use HDR, use your own 360 environment. So it takes all kind of art form to create a 3D scenes. If it's in a virtual metaverse, if it's gonna be running on Unreal Engine or like a web VR LAN environment, then it's gonna be different again. But there, yeah, it's really interesting art form, 3D of course, and normally maybe people are not used to 3D unless they're playing video games or if they're but anyone, I think anyone can use like toy like Lego, all kind of toys that you definitely, anyone with lucky enough to have toys when they're little can actually understand the concept of creating 3D scenes. In the future, you will be using maybe like a video game just to create your scenes, but you know, you can try it now using Blender because it's open source and free, of course. Yeah, okay. It's probably not the best scenes in the world, but still, we just made this very quickly using all kind of different assets. So I think it's really cool. See, it's if you make changes, it's gonna change very quickly. If you like to have some kind of thickness, by the way, just use Solidify. That's also one way to do it. So whether you're an architect, you have some kind of ideas to, or for comics books, and you want to make like a scenes, you can do it this way. All right, so this is your matrix. You know, welcome to the matrix. You made your own 3D scenes and you can send it to your friend. You can render this out. There you go. That's a quick look at Blender Asset Browser. Blender 3.1 alpha actually works with the cycles, with the Apple M1 cycles. If you have M1 Max, it's gonna be rendering even faster. But there you go. That's a quick look how you can create a scenes using Asset Browser in Blender. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye.